Let's build a Premier League in-season team for less than £50 that's going to win us big money. Can it be done? Yes, it can be done because I've already been doing it. I've already proven that it's possible to win in-season big cash prizes. You don't need big stars. These are the two teams that have won me I've two podiums already this season. I think you'll see looking at them, they're not filled with big stars. You haven't got any City players in there. You've got no Arsenal players in there. You've got no Chelsea players in there. You've got no Tottenham players in there. You've got one Liverpool player in there, but the rest of them are from clubs that at the start of the season, nobody fancied these teams. Did anyone fancy Brighton? I identified it and I was shouting in our Discord, get Brighton players. Brighton are going to be amazing this season. And that's been without Matt O'Reilly and João Pedro for most of the season. Nottingham Forest was the other team that I identified. I thought, you know what, they've made some good signings, and I feel that they're gonna not necessarily. I didn't think they'd do this well. Let's be real, but I thought they'd overperform their price.
What are you doing here?
Today we're going to look at limited, building an in-season team, and we're going to do it on a budget of less than £50. So let's get into it. Right, guys. So let's create a team. And let's try and keep it to £50. I'll talk you through my process in terms of what I look for. As you know, I don't really look for the premium players this season. If I win, then I might reinvest. But from the get-go, I don't want to do that. I don't want to put money in and look for just buy the best players, because one, that's kind of high risk. Yes, it's high reward, but I do believe you can get good results without having to get the very best players, and they cost so much more. I honestly know that you can get good success by going further down the table and identifying good players that, especially in the single league format, it's definitely possible to be done. I've done it already. I'm massively in profit for the in season. So if I was starting today, what would I do? How do I even start? You could say. Well, the first thing I'd do is I really like this site called Fantasy Football Scout. So it's primarily for FPL really, and I've been playing FPL for many years, and I've always used this site. So there's good articles. But the main thing I use is this tool. It's about halfway down the page. So when you go on the main page, about halfway down, and it's here. It's the fixture ticker, they call it. I've rearranged it so you can grab teams, like say Crystal Palace. I can move it up or down wherever I want. I've kind of ordered my teams. As you can see, it's color coordinated. Dark blue means a very good fixture, all the way down to like dark red is a very bad fixture. So I kind of put the teams that in the next few weeks have hard runs. I've put them further down. The teams that I feel and this chart indicates have good matchups, I've put higher up. So we want to build a team on a budget. So what I want to do, I'm going to look at these teams here and think, well, who is a budget team? Can I actually create a team for about £50 that in the next 5 weeks or so, I feel is going to have a good chance of returns. So let's see. So Wolves have a good run of fixtures. They're one team I'm going to look at. Bournemouth also, and Bournemouth are on good form as well. So that is something else you want to factor in. I've put them here because I think potentially they could be deemed as some bargains in there, but we will have a look. Ipswich, newly promoted. They got their first win against Spurs at the weekend. So is it a case that teams always take a bit of a while to adapt? So I feel that Ipswich, they were a very good team in the Championship. It might be that they've found their feet now, and now they've got this lovely run of games coming up. So definitely a team to look at. Villa, been very good this season. Kind of underrated, actually. I think they've been very good to kind of maintain Champions League and Premier League. So they're here. Yes, they've had a couple of bad results against Spurs and Liverpool, but what that does mean, the onus is on them to go get those points now. And they've got, barring Chelsea, quite a favourable run. And then Leicester, I've put them here. I don't think I'm going to look at Leicester. And then Brighton, Arsenal, might cost a bit more. We might look at that for a higher budget team. Right, so I've identified the teams that I'm going to look at, and I want to form a pretty good team. And what I think I'm going to do, firstly, I'm not going to full stack. I'm going to rule it out straight away. If you're going in now and you build a stack of a whole team, you're behind people that have already done it. They've got higher XP, so you can't go for a full stack really. You can go for it and pick a different captain. That is a way around it, but I am not going to go for a full stack personally. I think I'm going to look at. Let's have a look. I will look at. The thing with Wolves is their goalkeeper situation. Um, I don't like their goalkeeper situation, so I'm not going to go for Wolves from a defensive point of view. But how much is Cunha? Let's have a look at Cunha firstly. And I'm going to be putting down their classic and in-season prices. So a classic Cunha, £10.19. In-season, 22.32. Quite a big difference there. Okay. So let's get him in on the list. Cunha, £10.19. And the in-season was 22.32. That's a big chunk of budget gone if we get him. If we get Cunha, ideally we want to pair him with someone else from Wolves. This is what I always like to pair them up. So he's on a very good run of form. So I can see why his price is a bit punchier. Ain't Nuri up there. He's playing very advanced, isn't he? But he's a defender. But we said we didn't like the goalkeeper situation at the moment. Do you know what? Strand Larsen, he hasn't been firing yet, but the whole point of picking a team now is it's not really about what they have done. It's what do they have the potential to do. So Strand, he's playing as a lone striker. Obviously, he's got Cunha floating behind him. If Wolves do well, if he's spearheading the attack, I imagine that this guy's going to pick up. Oh, look at these prices: £1.35. Right, so he's definitely going to go on our list. Larson, £1.35, and he's in season £4.98. Right, £4.98. Okay, so a couple of Wolves. The reason I would like to get the double ups is say Cunha assists Larson with one goal. You've got two DAs from one goal, and I think that's definitely a possibility. Right, so that's a bit of Wolves. I am going to look at Ain't Nuri as well. I'm going to put him on the list because the great thing about them Ain't Nuri is his ceiling is very high. And that's what we want to look for. We want to look for players that have got potential to get a peak score. Cunha definitely has that. And Ain't Nuri is someone. So £2.27 is his classic. In season, let's have a look. £5.92, right? £5.92. And his scoring, let's have a look. So you see he's got it in his locker. He gets goals, look, a goal and an assist, a goal. Wolves have been pretty terrible this season, but look, he's still been picking up these DAs, and that's with a hard run of fixtures that they've had. In the last run, they had Villa, they had Newcastle, Villa, Liverpool, Brentford, Man City, Brighton. They've had a couple of easy fixtures now, but yeah, they've had a really hard run. But now they've got Fulham away, Bournemouth, Everton, West Ham, Ipswich. That's quite a favourable run. So far, if we were to buy this in season, we would have down here 33.22, and we'd have to go out buy another couple of players. So that's our Wolves contingent. Wolves, and the other thing I like to look at, if I'm going to do a couple of teams, I like to make sure that the way they rotate home and away, I like it if they can kind of be on a level playing field. With the Wolves, it's hard because they start away, home, away, home. We've not got anyone else who've got that pattern. Away, home, away. No. So even going down to Brentford doesn't really work. So I might park Wolves for now, and I'm going to look at Ipswich, and I will tell you why. And I've already kind of hinted towards it. The reason why is they've got a really good run of fixtures. They're coming into a bit of form now. I know it's Spurs, so Spurs can always do a Spurs, and they did a Spurs. But I like Leif Davis as a player. I really rate him. £5.82. He actually only has in-season cards. Leif Davis. Leif Davis. And it was £5.82. Okay. The reason that I like Leif Davis, if we go down and look at his scores, imagine the fact that this guy is new to the Prem. They've had a hard run of games. Ipswich are languishing towards the bottom of the table. But look at how he's scoring. 76, an 88, 65. He got 60. He got an 89. He's on all their set pieces. So If they do well, it could get potentially a defensive bonus points. Plus, he's got definitely potential to get these DAs at the other end of the pitch. So, Leif Davis, you want players like this, players that are cheap, but you don't want someone who's cheap just for the sake of being cheap. If someone's cheap but they've never ever got a high score in their life, then what's the point? You're really hoping that they're going to turn things around, that something they haven't done and they've never shown capability of doing. This guy is showing us that he can on his day absolutely smash it. So Leif Davis is definitely going in. As he's a defender, I would like to pair him up with the keeper. So Muric is, again, if they keep a clean sheet, he's actually a guy who's actually very capable of getting peak scores. He's not had the greatest of seasons so far. He's had a lot of negative DAs. He's had a few errors. He's had a few free goals conceded. But we can see that he has got it in him. So against Tottenham, for example, he conceded, but he still got 27 AA. So imagine if he'd got a clean sheet as well, what his score could have been. I don't mind picking up Muric. I don't mind pairing up with Leif Davis, because remember, we're looking for a budget here. And in the next 5 games, Ipswich, you got United at home, which United are, we never know United, but they're going to take a while to get up to speed. Forest, Crystal Palace, Bournemouth, Wolves, they've got a nice run there. So I think there's definitely capabilities of getting some good scores. So Muric, let's have a look. Oh, okay. So the cheapest we're getting for is £11.57. £11.57. And is in season £14.32. Okay, right. So let's go back to our little chart here. So what I've noticed is Ipswich go really well with Aston Villa. You see here? So Ipswich, home, they're both playing at home, they're both away. Both at home, both at home, both away. So when we've got these good home fixtures, they've both got good home fixtures. I like to look at that if I'm looking to pair teams up. So, for example, this week, Crystal Palace at home for Ipswich, Villa, Brentford at home. And the next week, Ipswich, Bournemouth, Villa, Southampton. Even this week, to be fair. And even in their away games, like they may come up trumps. Villa are capable of kind of giving a good fight against anyone. Ipswich, would you be shocked if Ipswich gets a clean sheet against Forest? Yes, Forest has been on good run of form, but it wouldn't floor me. I wouldn't be that shocked. So what I'm thinking of doing is Ipswich goalie defender, and then let's see if can I get a good 3 Villa players for the budget. The budget we have after these two, if we're in season, we're currently on £20. So we've got £30. Right. And I want peaks. I want people that are capable of getting DA. So I'm going to go straight for Watkins, which he may well be expensive, but let's have a look. Ollie Watkins, £4.09. That's actually unbelievable value. I know that's his classic, but for a player that's got European, he can play for England, his in-season is £9.51. Do you know what? Ollie Watkins, yes, he hasn't been absolutely smashing, but the next 5 fixtures, he's more than capable. So we've got Watkins in there. Well, this is why he's cheap at the moment. He's been on a bad run, but look what he's capable of. And now with the fixtures on his side, I think that's a bargain. So with Watkins, I would quite like Morgan Rogers. I really rate this guy. He's just got an England call up as well. No surprise. As we can see, he has got capabilities of getting the DAs. He's a bit hot and cold, but we don't mind that. That's part of the reason why if someone's all peak scores, we wouldn't be able to afford them. So we need someone who does have the capability of having a crap game every now and then when the harder games come around. But when the good games come around, they need to be able to get good scores. And he is definitely one of those guys. And on a budget, we have to look at someone like this. So let's have a look. He costs... Has he got classic cards? No, he hasn't. Only got in season. So £10.35. Rogers, £10.35. Okay, so what does that leave us with here? That leaves us with exactly £10 actually. What I would like is I want that team I don't want to rely on like loads of different fixtures popping off. So I want another Villa player. What have we got? So he is a forward. Obviously, Watkins is a forward. So we're going to have to get our midfielder from Villa, and it's going to limit us. But I would look at Tillemans, who does actually. Let's have a look. I think he's had a pretty good season. Look at these. He's not on the best of form, but we don't mind that. That's why his price has dropped, and he's now got the good run. But he's definitely capable. He kind of took over that Douglas Luiz role. He's done quite well. So let's see how much is. He a £10? Can we get him in? Look at that, £8.25, and that's for his new card, and his old card is dirt cheap, £3.88. Okay, so let's put Tillemans, £3.88, and he's in season. And remember, guys, you can have one classic, so whichever one kind of worked out best for you, you could do that. So this is one team I'm going to do. So let's have a look. So we've got Leif Davis is going to be our defender. We're going to have Muric in goal. We're going to have Watkins forward. We have Rogers as our extra. And then midfield is going to be Tillemans. So that team comes to £48.25 in season. In Classic, it's £20 for an in-season team. So if you are really on a budget, you can do a Classic team. I would say try and stretch yourself up. Try and push to get an in-season team if you can. It does actually help a lot. For example, here, actually, where could we save money? There isn't too much. Maybe in midfield we could get the. We could save probably like £5 off this team. This team we could get it for around 40 odd quid. And I think, given the fixtures for Ipswich and Villa and the way they gel together, that would be, if I was picking any team today and I'm looking at the immediate future, I'm looking at that team, Ipswich and Villa. So I don't know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments, but that's how I would do it. And then when I get to the end of the run, so let's make this a little bit smaller. So here is our list over here. So let me just drag Ipswich to the top and Villa. So who that's just the next 5. After that, they have got Ipswich and Villa. There they are. So after that, they've got Newcastle, Man City. So a tough game. Another tough game. So it may well be that after these 5 fixtures, I would be looking at offloading them. I wouldn't be bothering about buying extras around them to get the collection score, because in honesty, if they do pop off, how many people are going to have that exact 5? Probably not many. So what I'd be doing is I'd be doing this for the short term. I'd be looking at getting the next 5 fixtures, and then I'll be doing it again. And then after that, what you do is you go along, and then you go, right, who've got the next 5 fixtures? You've sold them off, and then I'd probably be looking at, have I won enough to kind of upgrade to get a Chelsea? Because Chelsea got some really nice fixtures there. And United, maybe they've turned around. They don't have that kind of home-away gel to them, but they're definitely still 2 good teams. And it's all about that. When you win, try and upgrade your team, and then work your way from there. Try and profit. To always take profit. It's never bad to take profit. But that's how I'll go with my £50 team. So what teams are you looking at purchasing over the next few weeks? It is the international break, so now is a great time. Maybe wait towards the end of the international break. Prices usually dip. At that point, look at the fixtures, decide who you think is going to have the best fixtures that suit you and your budget. If you want me to do a £100 budget on my next video, or even a £200 budget, or a rare team, put in the comments what you want me to kind of try and build up next. I'm mainly focused on the Premier League. That is the area that I particularly like. And other than that, yeah, do like the video, do subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.